Hello and welcome to our super special crime extravaganza, Killer Intent. We do, or we should, have two killer marks. We have one at the moment. One is on his way.
One solo Mark.
Yes, exactly. We have the lovely Mark Edwards with us at the moment. Hello, thank you for joining us. And they will be sharing their amazing crime writing secrets and telling us about their latest thrillers. This is also part of the Head of Zeus 10th anniversary of crime, 10 years of publishing the best quality crime. So do keep an eye on them for more fabulous events that they're doing. Now, I just want to say this is an interactive event, so please do pop a hi, or if you're a fan of the Marks, do let us know. If you have any favorite books, let us know, and if you have any questions, we'd love to hear them. We've already had a hello from Michelle in Canada. Hello, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah, that's very exciting. Oh, here we go. Hi, Mark. Awesome to see you.
Good to see you too. This is cool the way their photos flash up on the screen.
Yeah, I love it. It's great. Oh, here we go. Someone from Sydney. Hi, Yvonne.
Yeah, it's very early in the morning in Sydney, I think.
Yeah, God.
Yvonne,
what time is it in Sydney?
Yvonne is one of my most devoted readers.
Amazing.
And she always comes to my my live events, even when it's like 3 o'clock in the morning or something, or 4 o'clock. It's amazing.
Oh, love her. Oh, fantastic.
So
We're so
nice.
pleased you're with us. Thank you. Elizabeth, hello from Preston. Hello, Preston. And then Alice from Bath. Hi, Alice. Lovely. Oh, thank you. No, please do keep putting in comments. Oh, Yvonne's at 6 a.m. in Sydney. Ooh.
Okay.
She's up early.
Yes, yeah. Not too bad.
Not too bad. So yeah, so I'll introduce Mark properly to you. So Mark Edwards, he writes psychological thrillers in which scary things happen to ordinary people. So it could be any one of us. He's inspired by writers such as Stephen King, Ira Levin, Ruth Rendell, and Linwood Barclay. Now, if I have this right, which I might not, The Hollows is your 15th novel. Is that, and the 15th novel you've written by yourself? Is that right?
No, it's not quite that many. I think it's 12.
Okay. Oh, 12th. Oh, sorry.
Yes, I mean, to be honest with you, I lose count, but I know it's not as many as 15. I mean, there's some novellas as well. So if you include the novellas, then I think it is.
Maybe that's what I did.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I did.
Because
yeah,
there were
definitely.
2 Magpie sequels with their own novellas. So, and there's another novella as well out there. So, but honestly, I mean, I feel like I've written so many books. If people say to me how many books I've written, I have to go through them and count them.
God, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. So yeah, we're absolutely delighted to talk to you about thrillers because you're a connoisseur. And also just The Hollows, which I have right here.
I have one too.
Fabulous. It is so creepy and atmospheric, and it really makes you ask the question whether there are evil places on the earth. You know, it just really makes you sort of question yourself. And I mean, it has been described as a creepy, twisty, shadowy tale that Stephen King would have been proud to have written. Just incredibly high praise.
I know. I think, was that John Mars who said that?
Yes, it was John Mars. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, checks in the post.
Just while we're waiting.
John Mars and I were both born on exactly the same day. We were born on November the 4th, 1970. We're like twins who are separated.
Spooky coincidence.
I know, it's really strange.
Yeah, but also kind of amazing. And you're both amazing writers as well.
Well, thank you. Kerry Wilkinson, there's another writer, Kerry Wilkinson, has the same birthday, but he's a lot younger than us. It's a good day to be born if you're a crime writer.
Awesome.
Sorry, I keep interrupting your flow.
No, don't worry. No, don't. My flow will just keep on. Don't worry, there is no end to it. No, we have some wonderful other hellos. Tara in Ireland. Oh, hello from Tara. I'm so sorry. Not Tara, Susan from Tara Island.
Susan from Tara in Ireland, yeah.
There we go. Thank you. Michelle.
Another
Best author ever.
Another one of my loyal followers.
Wonderful.
Hi, Michelle.
And then Ashley, Michigan, USA.
Hi, Ashley.
Fantastic. From Glasgow. Oh, and ever important, Laura. We're delighted you're joining us here. Hopefully the other mark won't be too long. Gloucester, Nevada.
Yeah.
And the fabulous Anne Cater. Oh,
hi, Anne.
so pleased you're here. That's wonderful. Oh, fabulous.
She's here to see the other Mark. But where is he? I bet he's tearing his hair out. He's tearing
love him. Oh, love him. It'll be fine. He'll get here. He'll get here. But while we're waiting for the other Mark, shall we talk about the hollows?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, I mean, so creepy and so atmospheric. It really reminded me of I saw a documentary recently about this forest in Japan where there's a lot of suicides that happen there, and people think it's a really evil place. And then of course you have the setting of this very, very creepy, woods, and then there's a campsite in the woods, and there's a father and a daughter. I will let you expand a little bit more because I'm sure you can explain it in a much better way than I can.
So, I mean, the book was influenced by, I used to live in Japan, by the way. So, and I'm quite influenced by Japanese horror. But this book was particularly influenced by things like Pet Sematary by Stephen King, all those kind of slasher films that take place in campsites and like resorts in the woods, like Friday the 13th and things like that. But this isn't a slasher novel, but I like that setting where a group of people go to stay somewhere remote in the woods and then scary stuff starts to happen. And then it was also influenced by dark tourism, which is this phenomenon that's kind of sprung up over the last, decade or so, where people become interested in going to places where dark things happened, which might be somewhere like going to Chernobyl, or it could be going to LA and seeing where like the Charles Manson base was. I mean, people do actually organize trips to places like that. And so in the Hollows, you have this father and daughter. So they're both English, but he's divorced, and his 14-year-old daughter, Frankie, has gone to live in the States with her mum. So he only gets to see her like once a year or once every couple of years. So he's got this idyllic family holiday, just him and his daughter, planned. And they go to stay at this brand new resort, which has been built on the site of a former campsite. And they discover on their first night there that it was actually the setting of a brutal double murder 20 years before. And all of these dark tourists have basically descended on the campsite for the opening week because the supposed killer was never caught or never found, and there's rumors that he might still be around in the woods. And so that's where I started. And it's set in Maine, which again is my little tribute to Stephen King, because when I was growing up, he was my first writing hero. And I was planning to go to Maine to research the book. And then I couldn't because the pandemic basically happened right at the start when I was writing The Hollows. So I just had to use lots of Google Earth and Google Maps and reread all those old Stephen King books. So yeah, I
Well,
had to
you
kind of.
can definitely tell. I mean, it feels like a real homage to Stephen King and those sort of those horror tropes, you know. I
Yeah,
mean, the twins that freaked
yeah,
me out so bad. Yeah.
yeah. They're my favourite characters, Buddy and Darlene, um, because it's so much more fun to write the evil, bad characters, um, and they have this kind of. I think you can tell pretty much from the first time you meet them that there's something not right with them. So it's not like a spoiler to say that they're evil, but the things that you find out that they've done or that they do later on in the book, it kind of gets worse and worse. Um, and yeah, and then there's the backstory as well about the teenagers 20 years ago and all the stuff that they were getting up to in the woods. And that was, you might not believe it, but it was slightly influenced by The Secret History by Donna Tartt, which is my favorite book, where I love the idea of people following a leader and kind of, it's not a cult, it's a small group. It's just that they become friends with this older woman who teaches them all about the kind of spirituality that she believes resides in the woods. And she becomes a big influence over them and sort of affects their behavior. And that's something that's always really fascinated me, is how small groups can kind of take on this kind of mass delusion or mass hysteria or something that leads them to do extraordinary things, like they do in The Secret History. Have you read The Secret History?
I have, yes,
Yeah,
love it.
yeah. So the kind of the when they go off to do their bacchanalian rite in the Secret History, and they kind of go into almost like a fugue state. I mean, I'm giving away spoilers here, but I wanted them to kind of the characters in the book to kind of to do something like that, which leads them to do something that they would never normally do if they were kind of thinking clearly. And then it carries on, the kind of the legend of what they've done, which nobody really knows, carries on for 20 years, and all of these tales spring up from the fact that there was this murder. It's weird actually talking about a book that I wrote 2 years ago, because I've written a whole book since then, and I've written half of another book since I wrote it, and a novella as well. And so casting my mind back to remember exactly what happens in the book is actually quite
alien. Yeah, like really just having to stretch yourself.
It's amazing. It's a miracle that I can remember the characters' names, to be honest, because
you've done remarkably well. Well done. Anne was calling this sort of what were you calling it? Sort of horror dark tourism, disaster tourism. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
there's
weird,
disaster
isn't
tourism
it?
and dark. Yeah, there's both. Yeah, Chernobyl is the obvious one. People go on trips to see where the kind of nuclear meltdown was. But yeah, people love going to see where serial killers operated, or like in the book, this ritual murder. It's just because I'm also interested in the way that true crime has become this huge there's been a huge true crime boom over the last 10, 15 years. So with podcasts and true crime shows on Netflix. So two of the central characters in the book, as you know, are true crime podcasters, and they've done a series about these murders, and they've built up a cult following of their own. And so it's their kind of supporters who've come to or their fans who've come to Hollow Falls, which is the resort, to see where it all went down.
And if you want any more, you could be in luck, because if you answer a question correctly at the end of this live stream, you can win a copy of The Hollows, and also One Bad Thing by MK Hill, who, fingers crossed, will be joining us at some point. Let's hope so. We're missing you. So join us when you can. Michelle asked a question, actually. She goes, will there ever be a Mark Edwards movie from one of the books?
I would love that. 2 of the books, not the Hollows, but 2 of the books have been optioned. So Follow You Home has been optioned, and there's but the trouble is you never know whether they're ever going to be made. So somebody has bought the rights and is kind of and there's like script writing going on, and every now and then I'll hear something. But to be honest, I'm not going to assume that it would happen probably until the day that cameras start to roll, because I know that every step along the way something could go wrong. So it would be lovely if it did happen. But and there's another one that's been optioned, but I'm not allowed to talk about it because it's in my contract that I'm not allowed to say what it is until if it gets green lit and goes ahead, then I'll be allowed to talk about it. But until that point, it's still in kind of pre-development, and I'm just not allowed to say. But it could be very, very exciting if it happens.
Michelle, watch this space.
Even talking about it that much makes you feel like I've jinxed it.
Okay. Don't say any more. No more.
But yeah, I would love there to be a film. I mean, all writers, or nearly all, I'd say 99% of writers would like to see their books made into films or TV shows. Unless they made an absolute horrible mess of it, I don't see that there's any downside to it, really.
Very exciting. Anne says the book that won the CWA International Dagger last year was called The Disaster Tourist, set in Korea. Excellent. Oh, she was a judge. It's about a woman who organises disaster tourism. That sounds really interesting.
I've got that book. I've got it here on my shelf, but I haven't got around to reading it yet. But yeah, I think maybe I bought it because of that subject. That I thought it was because I think I'd already written The Hollows by that point, but I thought, yeah, because I'm interested in that topic, that I bought it. But I mean, God, I've got such an enormous pile of books to read. It goes back years, my pile of books. Oh, here he is!
Yay!
Hello! Making a late entrance at the party.
A grand entrance.
Always fashionably late. I'm so sorry. I couldn't get the camera or the microphone to work. So
no, don't worry at all. You're absolutely fine.
I was not going to get here, so here we are.
I'm just going to mess about with the layout and see. That's a bit close, isn't it? Sorry. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
And that's a bit better for everyone.
Thank you for being so patient. And
no, not at all.
Already, is he?
Can you hear us okay?
I can, yes.
Fabulous. Oh, fantastic. Hooray! Well, no, we're so pleased to have you with us. And now
pleased to be here.
Now we have the fabulous MK Hill here, or Mark Hill. I will introduce you properly to our viewers, of which there are loads. I am so chuffed. People from America, someone from Sydney. It's amazing. It's really, really awesome. Yes. So Mark Hill is a London-based full-time writer of novels and scripts. Formerly, he was a journalist and a producer at BBC Radio 2 across a range of major daytime shows and projects. He has also won 2 Sony Gold Awards. And now, I might have this wrong because I had it wrong for the other Mark. One Bad Thing is your 5th novel.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, that's okay.
How many have you written now, Mark?
I think it's 18 if you include the ones with Louise, and 12 on my own, I think.
18, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And how did you do it with Louise? Did you do a chapter each? Or?
Oh, it's very difficult to answer that question succinctly, but yeah, basically.
Awesome. And it has been One Bad Thing, which I have a copy here. It is a proof. Oh, look, there's the beautiful finished one. Oh, that is lovely. Has been described as chock full of suspense. I genuinely had no nails left at the end. So yeah, high praise indeed, and I can vouch for it. It'll have you sitting on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, I've just read it as well. I really enjoyed it. So
thank you.
Yeah, very I mean, it would be embarrassing if I thought it was rubbish, wouldn't it? But no, I thought it was great.
Hopefully you would lie in the circumstance.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a nice comment from Sophie. Great to see the 2 marks in action.
Yeah, thank you, Sophie. Very kindly was trying to help me get on air. But...
Love her. Thank you, Sophie.
Sophie is when we did a launch event together a few years ago. And we did a raffle. It was very exciting. And one of the prizes was a framed photo of us. And Sophie won the raffle. I think she's still got the photo, but it's such a bad photo.
That's where it went. Right. The actual photo is amazing. Mark doesn't like it very much. But I
don't
mind that one. It's the one that we took outside on that night that I really hate.
Right, okay.
Yeah, that one's all right.
Well, now you're both here, I can actually pop my bottle of Prosecco to congratulate you both on 2 fantastic novels. And Kate has said it is immense. I was totally blown away by it, which I think is one bad thing. Right, let's see if I can do this without making too much noise.
You're going to drink that all by yourself?
Possibly.
No,
probably just have one. Congratulations.
I've got Fever Tree Italian Blood Orange Soda here. That's very nice.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. So
I wanted to ask Mark what he said, because I'm reading The Hollows, which is very good. And of course it is. And I wanted to, is this your Stephen King novel? Is this your kind of...
Yeah, we were just talking... Exactly. Before you came on, when you were having your technical difficulties, we were talking about that. Yes, it is my homage to Mr. King. Maybe it's my way of trying to get him to notice that I exist, but it hasn't worked.
Because you went on a research trip, didn't you? Was that what it was?
Not for this one. I went on a research trip for the one that's coming out in June, which is set in California and Seattle.
Oh, okay.
But I was intending to go to Maine as well, and then the pandemic happened. I wrote the books the wrong way round. It's a bit complicated, but anyway, I never got to Maine. I had to use lots of Google Earth.
Well, I suppose one woods is very much like another, isn't it?
Well, exactly, yeah. As long as it's got pine trees in it, then it's fine.
And it's creepy, and creepy twins.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, there's like a cat in it called Cujo. So I thought I'm going to make the Stephen King references very obvious so that no one can say, oh, he's ripping off Stephen King. I'm going to make it obvious that this is my British homage.
And what's your favourite Stephen King novel?
Oh, I would say it's either Misery or The Stand, I would say.
Oh, both what a question. Mark, what's your favourite Stephen King novel?
I don't like the long ones. I think I read all of it except the last about 100 pages. I just kind of gave up after that. I mean, ridiculous. But I literally could not read another. I mean, it's 2,500 pages long or something, isn't it? And The Stand's about the same. I think that might even be bigger. I think
it's like 1,500 words, but
1,500 pages. Yeah, it felt like. I mean, he's great, but that's just too long for me. I'm a very slow reader.
So now we have you both here. Sorry,
the Dead Zone. I like very much. I like Misery, and a lot of the early Pet Sematary is another good one, which is kind of referenced a lot, I think, in The Hollows, isn't it? Really? Yeah,
it is. Yeah, Pet Sematary was one of the big influences on the book.
Yeah,
definitely.
Laura, who do you like?
No, I'm so eager because we've had some fantastic chat about The Hollows. I really want to focus the attention in on One Bad Thing, which we've had loads of nice comments about. And also, there is an opportunity to win at the end of this live stream if you get one question right. And it is a question about marks. So just bear that in mind. For the end. Yes, lovely. So, I mean, One Bad Thing, obviously, it's a thriller about a sort of minor celebrity radio host who is like the queen of kindness, and she gets reminded of one bad thing that she did in her past that comes back to haunt her. So I wondered if you could expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, she's an agony aunt on a local London radio station, and it's her last appearance because she's going to join a very famous morning television magazine show with a couple of very famous presenters, and she gets a call from a woman who talks about something that happened to her brother, who was bullied in a mysterious event by two strangers. And of course, Hannah's blood chills in her veins because she was one of them, and this happened a very long time ago. And she's kind of very worried, of course, that as the Queen of Hearts, which is her sort of nickname, kind of professional name, will be rather compromised, basically, because what she did many years ago wasn't a very kind thing, and it wasn't a very empathetic thing, and obviously it would ruin her career. And then Diane, the caller, then sort of slightly inveigles herself into Hannah's life, and events spiral out of control.
And I mean, do you feel that with your time working on radio and working with, I suppose, these sort of personalities, minus celebrities, yes, that's the word I use. I mean, did that inspire or help you create this really amazingly well-rounded character?
Everyone sort of says that. I mean, I guess so. There's a radio element at the beginning of the book, but it kind of kicks everything off, and then it's sort of slightly forgotten because she moves on to other things, really. But I suppose so. It just seemed a very good way for somebody to spill a secret in broad daylight, and nobody else would know what Diane was talking about. So actually, there's only one person who realizes the truth of her statement and what happened to her brother, and that's Hannah, really. And it just seems a sort of a good way to kind of pile on the pressure very quickly. And I've done a lot of radio interviews this week. They've all talked about sort of the cancellation aspect of, celebrities getting kind of chopped, and obviously we've seen a lot of that later, and it kind of, there's an element of that to the book as well. It's like, well, even if what Hannah didn't do was necessarily a criminal offence, it was certainly unkind, very morally wrong, and cruel. But it was many years ago, and if something that you did many years ago comes back to haunt you, should it ruin your career? I don't know, really. It's a hard one, but that kind of idea sort of fuels the book a little bit, I think.
And I think it's about whether you're still the same person, as you were 10, 20, 30 years ago.
Well, somebody actually said, I mean, probably you'd be a better agony aunt, wouldn't you, if you weren't a very nice person in the past? I think surely you have to learn. I mean, nobody wants to be given advice by a robot, do they?
Exactly.
Deirdre's got a lot of skeletons in her closet.
Well, quite. Yes, I heard that.
I don't think Deirdre's even a real person anymore, is she? She's just.
I think she is a robot.
She's an algorithm. Yeah.
We've got some.
Yeah, she's expensive, Deirdre, now.
Yes, we've got some questions coming in. Michelle asked, I often wonder what dark place your mind has to go to write these novels, and how hard is it to get out of that headspace?
That must be Mark. It looks quite dark where you are, Mark. You sit in the dark.
Well,
we got the lighting.
Yeah, the lights were shining on my bald head, so I had to kind of dim the lights a bit. So I don't. There's only been a few occasions where I've written something so horrible or dark that I felt disturbed by it. Usually, I feel actually very emotionally detached from the kind of horrors that I write about, and I suppose I'm just seeing them as how they're going to play out on the page and how they're going to affect readers, but they don't really affect me. In fact, I'm kind of rubbing my hands together with glee if I write something particularly horrible.
As long as it doesn't involve kind of animals getting hurt or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, I have a kind of the cat survives policy in all of my books. So, and there's certain topics. There's a cat actually meowing, trying to get into this room. I might have to go and let her in. But yeah, there's certain subjects that I wouldn't go near, like child abuse and things like that. So I wouldn't want to write something so grim that it was going to make me feel that yucky or kind of exploitative or something. So, but yeah, there has been scary, horrible things that happen in my books, but I find it quite easy to get into that headspace and quite easy to get out of. Let me just let the cat in while Mark speaks.
Yeah, do. Mark, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I'm a bit of a wuss, really. I don't go anywhere. I don't go to dark places like that. In my first book, actually, it was set at a children's home, and there's look,
Peggy,
Bean Stealer. It's set at in a children's home, and there's lots of sort of implied abuse going on, but I never go near it, really. I just don't. You know, it's meant to be enjoyable writing books, so they say, and you don't really want to do that, do you?
No, for me, the really interesting. He's getting one of his pets now.
Yeah, I was going to say, is he getting a cat? Oh, look, it's a dog.
Oh,
look, Peggy, I raise you.
Well, we're going to divide the audience with cat and dog people now.
Hello, Peggy. Put in the comments below, are you a cat or a dog person? We'd love to know. We'd love to know. Let's do it.
I think we're both, you got your dogs as well, haven't you? You've got a lab or something?
No, I used to have a golden retriever, but she died, unfortunately, last year.
Okay.
Oh,
but,
sorry.
Moving on.
Yes. What was I saying? I think for me, the pleasure of writing these books is, like Mark was saying, you kind of pile the pressure on your characters and try putting the characters under intense pressure and piling all problem after problem after problem and things going wrong and then making stupid mistakes or third parties coming along and making things worse. For me, that's the fun of kind of that mountain sense of how the hell are they going to get out of this. And so being a thriller writer, a lot of it is sitting around trying to work out how to really make your characters suffer. And then how are they going to get out of it? That's the challenge in a satisfying way.
I think you have to be there's people like Chris Carter, aren't they, who kind of, really love doing all of that sort of really kind of gory kind of stuff. I don't even like autopsy scenes, really. I find them quite, I find them quite boring anyway. But I just don't see the pleasure in it, as Mark says, And also, actually, all the best horror is in the pacing. It's what you don't sort of tell people. It's the icky feeling you get when you don't trust the character, that kind of thing. I find that far more interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. And I suppose there is a fine line, isn't there, between thriller and horror?
Yeah.
I guess so. I've kind of started writing a horror book by mistake.
Oh,
really?
Not by mistake, but it's it's kind of nice to sort of branch out and do different things. But it's not horror. It's more of a sort of more of a kind of a Dr. Jekyll. So it's Line of Duty meets Dr. Jekyll.
Oh.
So it's kind of a hybrid.
Right.
Which means
is it supernatural?
No.
No.
Not yet. There's a long way to go, I guess. No, not really. No.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
See how it goes, exactly.
Because that's one thing I always avoid the supernatural. I like people to think that maybe there's something supernatural going on. It seems like it seems like such an impossible situation that there must be ghosts in the walls, or there must be something otherworldly going on. And and often I'll start the book not knowing what the real world solution is going to be, and then I have to figure it out. And do you plot your books, Mark?
Oh, fastidiously, yeah. I've got all my cards that I kind of have with me all the time. You know, I'm a card person, I'm afraid, and a whiteboard person, and I basically I have to know every single thing that happens. I mean, obviously there are sort of small changes, but I can't make stuff up. I need to know the beginning, middle, and end.
Okay. I'm the complete opposite. I'll just throw myself in without.
I know. I admire you enormously for being able to do that.
There's two different.
Stressful enough without not knowing where you're going, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, I kind of have a vague idea, but often it will change a lot as I go through. And the whole.
Has it ever not worked out? Have you ever kind of written something and thought, I have no idea how I'm going to?
Yeah, and then there's been like intense periods of rewriting where I've had to rip the whole thing up and kind of start.
Oh, you see, that would just do my head in.
Yeah.
All that time, all those words.
I know it's very inefficient, but once so the book that's coming out in June, which is called No Place to Run, I wrote probably 2 full drafts before it went to my editor, and I knew that it still wasn't working. And when I got his notes back, he was like, okay, you need to change. And there was a very, very, very long list of things that needed changing. And I basically, it's a 90,000 word novel. I deleted about 60,000 words and wrote a new 60,000 words in the 3 weeks that I had to do my edits. It was just like, and I just went into the zone, and the book is actually turned out really well. But it's like going into an exam and just having to perform under intense pressure, and that's kind of how I work best.
Well, I mean, as I say, that's good for you. I don't think I could do that. I mean, I just have to stare at my whiteboard.
Yeah, it is quite nice. And I have to say, actually, the one I'm writing now, I do kind of know what's going to happen, and I do feel more relaxed.
Well, the police have just arrived.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, usually, you know, we're in South Hillingdon. It happens. I'm sorry. Apologise for that.
Right.
Yeah. No, thank you. I mean, great. You know, great content. We've got a couple more questions that I just want to go through quickly, if that's okay. So Alice, there's a question for both the Marks. Out of all your books, which character has been your favourite to write and why?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I've got a character in my first 2 books, Myra Drake, who's for some reason I write horrible old ladies, and she's a sort of a horrible old lady, but you know, very sharp. I always imagined her looking a bit like Maggie Smith, that you know, that sort of with that stare. And absolutely started, you know, sharp as a pin, and sort of a kind of an old Lady Macbeth type character. And I think I've probably been writing variations on that character ever since, really.
Yeah, it's always going to be the baddies who you most like writing, isn't it? All those complex baddies. Mine would be so in Here to Stay, which is about the in-laws from hell. I have a pair of basically an evil father and mother-in-law for my very nice central character. His in-laws come and move in with him, and they're just so awful that they were just so much fun to write, because they do petty trivial things like lock the cat flap out and drink all of his best wine and stuff like that, but then they also do really evil stuff like murder people, And so yeah, they were just great.
But it is usually the small stuff that is really kind of, I think that really hits home with people, isn't it? So it's very small kind of gaslighting moments, I think.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. And it's it was really good fun to think of all the kind of, like, he comes home and finds them kind of measuring the walls and choosing new paint that they're going to repaint his front room without asking him, and they just things and they don't flush the toilet when they use it, things like that, like the drive-through.
Oh,
yeah, I know.
There's a great film an old French film called Auntie Danielle, and she comes to stay, and you'd love it. She's this horrible sort of old auntie who causes havoc in his house. And I always remember there's one scene where they've got this old beagle which she drives down the motorway and boots him out and leaves him on the motorway.
Oh,
and you see this beagle sort of watching her drive off into the distance.
Yeah, I mean to add, I have with that, we mentioned cats and dogs already, but that book's got a cat in it. The main character's got a lovely cat, and the amount of emails and messages I had from people saying, I've read the first 50 pages of this book and I can't read on until you tell me that the cat's going to be all right, because no one cares about the humans in it. Yeah. They just want to know that the cat's going to be all right. Yeah. So I was like, if you really want spoilers, yes, the cat is going to be all right.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to put on the front of my books, the cat survive. It's like that, that Ricky Gervais Afterlife. Netflix changed their Twitter status to just the dog survives recently, because so many people are scared to watch Afterlife in case the dog died.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you really want to end your career as a novelist, it's sort of kill the family pet, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. Exactly.
Just a note, just don't even go there.
No. Yeah. Bad thing. Don't do that. And you're never going to do that, right?
No, never will.
Never.
It's a cheap trick as well, isn't it? I don't know. There's some scary person creeping around your house and you've got a cat, and it's like, oh, they're going to poison the cat or kill the dog. It's just so obvious and cheap.
Yeah. Too cliched.
So cliched, exactly.
Although, hold on a minute. In the Hollows, there is a rabbit.
Oh, there's a rabbit. There is a rabbit. But okay, so
he dies off screen. To be fair,
exactly. It's not named. No. So I wouldn't kill a named animal. That's my policy.
Good to clarify. Okay, next question from Anne. I've read some amazing crime fiction published this year already, all probably written during lockdown. Was it easier or harder to write in those circumstances?
Do you want to go first?
Well, it wasn't any different for me because I don't get out much anyway, to be honest. I mean, as Mark will tell you, if you work from home all the time, life goes on. My partner Fiona, she was here, and it was really nice actually. And we'd kind of, during the early days of lockdown, when it was really kind of, the streets were deserted, we'd do our Joe Wicks, we'd do our 20 minutes together. We'd have lunch together, and then and I'd come back up here, and it was like a proper kind of. It was nice. I really enjoy. I obviously didn't enjoy, the whole pandemic aspect of it, but the actual kind of domestic setup was really good. I thought.
I found it. I was opposite. Sorry, I interrupted you. Carry on.
Did you not like it then?
Well, no, because I've got 3 school-age children, and including 2 primary school children. So I couldn't write at all for months because I was just doing homeschool. Okay. And then I would spend hours wrangling with them and trying to get them to do their maths and their literacy homework, none of which I don't understand their literacy homework, even the 8-year-old.
Mine's older, you see, so he could look after himself a little bit.
Yeah. And so there was that. So there was the time aspect. I mean, I had to go away. I'd made so little progress kind of when I was halfway through halfway to my deadline. I booked an Airbnb in the gap between the first lockdown and the summer, and I just went and stayed in Airbnb for a week and just wrote like a maniac on my own. So most of this book was written in that Airbnb in Shrewsbury. But it was also the kind of lack of external stimuli. I like to go out and travel and go and see people and do things and I get a lot of my inspiration when I'm actually out of the house. And I felt like my imagination was really drying up. So the last 2 years for me as a writer were a real struggle. But this year, the one I'm writing now, it's been so much. I feel like I've kind of got my mojo back. Yeah. So yeah, I hated it. I hated the whole kind of every lockdown, all of it.
That's so interesting.
Being miserable is my default kind of my default state. So it didn't make much difference to me.
Yeah, I think I'm an extrovert and I find it really hard not seeing people. So I don't get that fuel that I need to get from other people.
Right, okay.
So
that's interesting because you don't get many extrovert writers, do you? Well, I don't know. Maybe that's just my stereotyping.
Yeah, I think I know quite a lot of extrovert writers.
Okay.
I also think extrovert introvert is a scale. It's
yes.
Everyone thinks they're one or the other, but I think it's a scale, and there's lots of combinations. But I know that when I go to a festival, for example, like Harrogate or something, that is the highlight of my year, where I get to see everybody and talk to loads of people, and I come back from that feeling refreshed and charged. And I know that some people, if you're a proper introvert, then you come away from that feeling like you want to hide for a week. So
yeah. Oh, that's really interesting. I'm sure that the fans love that.
Fine.
Yeah.
As long as I can go and sit in my bedroom, for a couple of hours and sort of recharge, because I do find it exhausting talking to other members of the human race sometimes. And to be fair, they find it exhausting talking to me as well. So.
Well, I remember us at Harrogate plotting our raffle prizes a couple of years ago.
I enjoyed doing that. What I like about working with another kind of writer, another creative, is you come up with some good stuff, don't you? And you can sort of,
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was really good fun.
Yeah.
Any writers out there who are looking for ideas for launch events, I can recommend doing a raffle.
Yeah.
You don't sell the tickets, you give away the tickets. I mean, I suppose we could have sold them, but I don't know how many we would have shifted.
Yeah. We could have done it on Zoom.
Oh, good idea. Good idea. Okay, a couple more questions. Jane asks, do you often struggle not to copy other people's ideas?
Mark?
Well, I think the issue is when you come up with ideas, working out whether it's been done before. Like I had an idea the other week and I thought that seems like such an obviously good idea that it must have been done. And I'm still trying to work out whether it's been done or not. And if it hasn't, then that'll probably be the next book. But I'll probably get halfway through it and then I'll think, oh my God, I've just basically copied Fatal Attraction or something.
There's always about 2 books come out every year that seem to be copies of each other, and it just happens. Things go up into the zeitgeist. Exactly. I mean, I do think that unless it's a really high concept idea, most ideas have been done, and they've been done, not just once or twice. They've been done. But I think all you can do really, if you discover that somebody else is, there's a couple of submarine things, I think, wasn't there? And all you can do really is just try and do it the only way you can do it. And, nobody will do it the same way that you want to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not to say you don't try to sort of copy other people. I'm very careful. I mean, I've written a lot of police thrillers, and I always try to come up with something which is, I haven't seen a million times before.
Yeah.
And it's quite hard, but if you can pull it off, it's very satisfying.
Yeah, and it's like what we were saying about my my homage to Stephen King. Hopefully people don't think I'm trying to copy Stephen King, but it's like I don't know, something like The Woman in the Window is obviously an homage to Rear Window.
Yeah.
And sometimes you kind of wear your influences quite heavily.
Yes.
Make them quite obvious. Also, you can't really copyright plots. So if you wanted to copy someone's plot, then you could probably do it, and no one would be able to do anything about it.
Yeah.
But
where's the fun in that? You just
exactly, yeah, there isn't any.
You come into this game, don't you? Like my brother-in-law, bless him, he's sort of ex-copper, and he's always saying, what you should write about is, I used to know this guy who was a drug dealer, drug lord, and then he goes into this very long story. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, it's great. It's not it's not what I want to write about. Other people do that kind of thing.
If you're not excited by the idea, you'll often get people will kind of remake Shakespeare, won't they, in modern tellings, like something like or Pride and Prejudice or Clueless is like, the film Clueless, that's based, what is that based?
Emma.
Taming of the Shrew, isn't it? Or is it, and what's Taming of the Shrew then? That's that one.
10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah. So there you go.
They're all 90s films, so it was all
yeah, and there's been so many retellings of Macbeth and so on. So there are these kind of plot. Yeah, and they say there's only 7 plots, don't they? I'm not sure what those plots are, but we're all working to certain templates.
Someone dies, somebody falls in love, someone falls out of love.
Yeah, somebody seeks revenge.
In-laws come to stay. That kind of thing.
That's the classic one.
Well, I hope that answered your question, Jane. Alison asked a quite intriguing question. Do you find it difficult to write a female character?
I think Sasha Dawson is my police character. Hannah, obviously. No, I find it, strange enough, I find men very, very boring to write, actually. I don't like writing them at all. I don't know why. It just seems, whether I do it well or not, it just seems, it feels natural to me to write female characters. No idea why. Not going to question it. Strange enough, I'm writing an action thriller at the moment, and that's got another female protagonist. So yeah, I don't know. I need to get a psychologist in. Yeah,
I find it. I also have written. I've written 2 books from a female point of view, but I think most of my books have chapters from. They have a male protagonist, but then they'll have chapters from the female point of view. Yeah, I don't really buy into that whole men are from Mars, women are from Venus thing, that we're so vastly different. I wouldn't write a sex scene from a woman's point of view. But anything else, I think I enjoy it. And whether, again, like Mark said, whether I get it right or not, I'm not sure. But no one's ever said, women would never think this or do
not
this.
So far, no.
And I find you get this stuff, that men writing women thing, don't you, going around on Twitter, where people have found some terrible description of a woman looking in the mirror at her body in some old book, and they put it on Twitter, and everyone says, "Oh, men are so awful and can't write women." And I think that there probably was a period where there were lots of really bad books where male writers were just writing women as sex objects. But luckily, Mark and I are far more sophisticated than that.
Obviously, yeah. Shall we? Moving on swiftly. Michelle asked the question. I read mostly with audiobooks because of dyslexia. Do you guys have much influence in your narrators?
I don't. I mean, basically, I'll get sent a couple of choices for the actor who's doing it, and I'll say, yeah, I like that one, or I like that one, and that's pretty much as far as it goes.
Usually the email says, we've got a couple of choices. We really like Jeff.
Yeah.
It's put in that. It's the whole sort of, TV hypnotist type thing, isn't it? Like imagine a shape, you know. So you kind of go, oh yeah, okay, let's have Jeff. Do you have any ever kind of made a comment about one? I think it's more of a. I think it's, you know, they sort of run it past you as a matter of course. But I don't listen to my audiobooks anyway. Do you?
No,
I find it very difficult to listen to. Not that they're not very good. They are. They're usually really brilliant. I just find it such a weird thing hearing your own.
Absolutely.
You know, your own story.
I would quite like to narrate one of my audiobooks.
Oh my gosh!
Quite good fun. I need to put myself forward at some point to do it.
Yeah.
The trouble is, but not one of the American set books, because I'd have to do all the accents. Yeah, and it would just be embarrassing.
What about the mother-in-law character? Though? I mean, how would you do the old lady voice? Or
well, she's not. I mean, she's only like 60 or something. She's not really old.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but I do kind of readings on my Facebook page sometimes.
Okay.
And people always say nice things, but maybe it's because they just want to win the prize at the end of the event. I don't know.
I might suggest myself and just see how that goes down.
Do it. That would be amazing.
Well, Mark Billingham does his own audiobook.
But he was a performer, wasn't he? He was an actor.
Yeah, he was an actor. Yeah.
I'm sure my kind of dull monotone will be just the ticket. I think
it could be a sleep
sales of my books.
Well, those sleep story apps are very big, so
yes.
Maybe.
Never know. Or what's that? Is it ASMR? Do you know what I mean? It's like that very
make those strange noises, like running
and
their
people
finger
love it.
across AMSR.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. If you do, Mark, if you do like the audio, I'll be your special effects guy. Write some horses in it, and I'll bring
with the coconuts.
Yes, and the thing for like the clap of thunder, the metal feet.
Brilliant.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Deal.
Thank you guys so much. We have reached that point where we're going to ask the question. So if you are tuning in live, I'm going to ask you a question. And if the very first person, either on Facebook or YouTube, that puts in the right answer in the comments box will win a copy of The Hollows and One Bad Thing. There it is. Oh, here it is. It might not be those exact copies, but the copy, you will get a copy.
It's almost as brilliant as the cover. Isn't that a wonderful cover?
Beautiful.
I don't think I'll ever get a better cover than that.
That is a wonderful cover. Great. So, the question is, which of these marks created Huckleberry Finn?
Okay, I'm just going to Google this. Hold on.
Is it Twain, Billingham, or Zuckerberg? First person. Who's going to put it in the comments box? Waiting. No one's done it quite yet.
Someone's going to ask you to repeat the question.
So it's which of these? Okay, Mark T. I'm sorry, Nicola. No, I'm sorry. Oh, Poppy! Poppy got it! Twain! Poppy, you were the very, very first Twain. Very, very first Twain. Poppy, congratulations. That is absolutely fantastic.
I think Mark Tweed must be, is that his real name?
Oh, maybe.
No, I was just joking.
No! Nicola, did you mean Mark Twain? If you did, Nicola and Poppy, pop me an email.
I think that's fair.
I think that's fair, and then so both of you win. It did start with a T, and both of you were first.
Nicola, Nicola has already got a signed copy of The Hollows.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm quite happy to, jog along a.
Nicola says it was autocorrect.
They always.
That's okay. That's okay. So, well, no, pop me an email on its library events, all one word, library events at hillingdon.gov.uk, and those are going to wing their way in the post to you. For those of you who unfortunately didn't get to win a copy, you can buy them. And they are on Amazon. I'm going to share with you some really awesome links for them. So for One Bad Thing for $3.99, amazing. Do follow this very, very short, simple Amazon link. And then for the Hollows for $3.29,
it's even cheaper. That 70p makes all the difference.
Do follow this link. And
how many pages has yours got though?
Those are the Kindle versions, aren't they?
Yeah.
Those are the Kindle versions.
324.
It's a bargain.
I mean, it's practically
Absolute
a penny
bargain.
a page, almost exactly a penny a page.
It's not as big as Stephen King's, but mine is. If I don't count the acknowledgements, it's 387.
Oh. Well, see, we're basically charging a penny a page.
Oh yeah, I didn't. Yeah, that's well. Yeah, well,
Absolute bargain. Absolute bargain.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. You have been absolutely wonderful. It's been really, really lovely to chat to you both. Really enjoyed it. And for everyone watching, thank you so much for your comments. It's really lovely to have that interactive element. And if I didn't get around to sharing your comment, I'm so sorry. But I will be sharing this link with both the marks afterward. So maybe if they have time, they can go in and leave their own comments at a later date.
I'm really sorry I was late, guys.
No, it's just lovely to have you with us.
Yeah, I particularly enjoyed the first 17 minutes where it was all about me.
What's frightening is you know how many minutes it was.
Oh, you should have heard the things he said about you.
Don't worry. And we would love to have you for an in-person event or another digital event for Hillingdon Libraries again very soon. So
when Mark goes, just you can interview me on my own if you want.
We'll just carry on. We'll just crack on. Brilliant. Okay, well, thank you all so much, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
That was
very
good
much,
fun. Thank you. Okay, bye.